Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories. My name is Matt. I know this podcast is quite new, but some of you have been following along for a while now. As you may have noticed, the narrator has changed a couple of times already in just a few months. The truth is, the podcast has been growing extremely slow, and basically nobody has left us any reviews so far. I'm here as the new voice of the podcast and would love to stick around, but I need your support to do so. Please, if you enjoy our content, it would mean so much to us if you could just leave us a review on whichever podcast platform you use. Now, take a deep breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Hello, my name is Owen Thorne, and I'd like to welcome you to a gentle journey that will guide you toward a soothing night's rest. In just a moment, we'll drift into a tranquil spring setting by a quiet lake in the heart of the Alps, where the air is sweet and the evening light wraps itself softly around the water's surface. For now, though, take a moment for yourself. Notice the gentle weight of your body sinking into a comfortable position. Allow your breath to slow in its own time, inhaling softly through the nose, then exhaling with an easy sigh. The day behind you can fade into the distance with each exhale. As you continue to let your breath flow, picture a sense of warmth beginning in your chest, radiating outward across your shoulders, down your arms, and settling into your fingertips. Feel it ease any tension you've carried with you, loosening your muscles, making everything soft and heavy. With each calming inhale, your eyelids may grow a bit heavier, and a comfortable haze of peace may settle over your mind. Before your mind's eye, the scene of a serene spring lake slowly forms, beckoning you to step into a realm of stillness and gentle beauty. Far up in a hidden valley of the Alps, the air is crisp with hints of early blossoms. Tiny white clouds drift slowly across a pale blue sky, reflected in the calm surface of the lake below. Snow-kissed peaks stand watch in the distance, their silence inviting you into the promise of tranquility. Slowly, let the tension in your body dissolve, your thoughts drifting like those soft clouds. Inhale again, noticing the gentle rise and fall of your chest, exhaling any lingering worries, releasing them into the vast expanse of this quiet, welcoming space. Now, allow yourself to sink further into comfort, your breath a steady lullaby, preparing you for the unfolding story that lies ahead. In a quiet mountain village that had been blessed with early spring warmth, a slender path wound its way through clusters of blooming alpine flowers. The path led down toward the shining lake that filled a valley ringed by majestic slopes. Many in the village admired this lake from afar, remarking upon its gentle, lapping waves and the way it caught the sunlight in brilliant sweeps of gold and silver. It was along this path, soft with new grass and tiny blossoms, that a calm traveller wandered, drawn by the promise of peaceful water and a moment of solitude beneath the watchful gaze of ancient mountains. This traveller had risen before dawn, eager to catch the earliest rays of sunlight dancing across the valley. As the sun lifted slowly over the peaks, the traveller began to walk, noticing the soft hush of morning. Small birds rustled in the budding branches overhead, their gentle chirps creating a delicate melody that rose and fell with the breeze. Light seeped through the leaves, throwing dappled patterns onto the grass. Each step the traveller took was purposeful, yet unhurried, a soothing rhythm that seemed to echo the gentle heartbeat of the mountains themselves. Moving ever closer to the lake, the traveller paused to admire the view. Crystal clear waters stretched out like a mirror, reflecting pastel tones of the morning sky. Soft ripples created a gentle pattern, while the faint hint of pine trees and damp earth carried on the breeze. Across the way, the mountains embraced the lake in a protective arc, their snowy caps glinting with an otherworldly shimmer. The village behind, though not far away, felt completely removed from this tender, solitary space. In the hush of early day, it was as if time itself had slowed. Drawn towards the water's edge, the traveller continued walking along the path. Tiny clusters of wildflowers, pale pinks, blues, and whites, bowed slightly, releasing subtle fragrances that mingled with the alpine air. A gentle hum of bees and occasional flutter of butterfly wings added to the sense of a living, breathing tapestry. Every sensation, sight, sound, scent, was delicate and warm, as if nature herself was offering a gentle welcome. Soon, the traveller arrived at a small grassy clearing that formed a natural shoreline for the lake. A large rock, warmed by the sun, jutted out over the gently lapping water. The traveller settled upon it, legs dangling comfortably, the faint hush of water lapping the stone beneath. The bird calls were closer here, serenading the calm. A single fish broke the lake's surface, sending a concentric dance of ripples outward. Watching these circles expand and fade was deeply comforting, a reminder of how each moment, too, expands and quietly dissolves into memory. Across the lake, soft wisps of mist still clung to the opposite banks. Early sunlight glistened on the dew-kissed fields at the shoreline's edge, and an old wooden dock reached out into the tranquil water. On that dock stood an empty rowboat, painted a pale, weathered blue, gently bobbing as the lake's tiny ripples gave it a measured, rocking lullaby. The traveller, feeling the tug of curiosity and the promise of discovery, decided that exploring the lake by boat might be the perfect way to embrace the gentle quiet of the morning. Rising from the warm rock, the traveller stretched slowly, arms upturned toward the sky, feeling the new day's light pass over the shoulders and face. Following a shallow ridge around the lake's perimeter, the traveller approached that quaint wooden dock. Each footstep on the wood made a soft creaking sound, adding to the serene, rhythmic lull that characterized this peaceful haven. The boat's interior was tidy. There were just 2 wooden oars resting across the center bench. Carefully stepping in, the traveller felt the subtle shift of balance, the water's calm support beneath the hull. It was a small, reassuring movement, as though the lake were gently cradling the rowboat, inviting the traveller to drift and explore. With gentle strokes of the oars, the traveller guided the boat away from the dock. The lake's surface shimmered in patches of clear reflection, broken only by the soft swirl of water displaced by the oars. As the boat moved outward, a breeze floated across the traveller's cheeks, bringing with it the faint memory of pine forests and distant snow. Yet the air was warm enough to be comfortable, just a mild, refreshing spring breath moving through the valley. Above, the mountains loomed in quiet majesty, their silence a comforting presence, like old friends standing in solemn watch. Time passed in a slow and steady rhythm, much like the easy pull of the oars. The traveller let the boat drift often, soaking in the lulling hush that spread across the water. Occasionally, a gentle lap against the side of the boat reminded the traveller to take another stroke, guiding the vessel to new views of the shores. In one spot, the water grew clearer, revealing smooth stones and small fish darting in the shallows. The traveller paused to watch their movement, how they played in the diffused sunlight, their scales flashing for an instant before disappearing back into the shadowy depths. Farther along, there was a small inlet where willows reached toward the water, trailing delicate strands of leaves that brushed the surface like green, whispering curtains. The traveller angled the boat quietly among these branches, letting them pass over the boat's sides with a soft rustle. In the shallow shade beneath those willows, the traveller found a small cove where waterfowl sometimes nested. This morning, however, it was serene and still, with only the quiet patter of droplets sliding from leaf tips to the lake below. The traveller closed their eyes for a moment, relishing the sense of being wrapped in the gentle arms of the mountains, the willows, and the water. The whisper of leaves overhead was like an ancient lullaby, created by the valley's own pulse. Eventually, the traveller guided the boat back out into the open lake. The sunlight had risen higher, and its warmth now spread across the traveller's shoulders and face. Soft glints danced on the gently rolling surface, like bright little stars scattered upon water. High above, a hawk circled, gliding on invisible currents, the faint sound of its distant cry adding a layer of spaciousness to the scene. This was a place untouched by hurry or worry, a place that existed in its own timeless bubble. With each breath, the traveller felt the timelessness expand within, dissolving any tension lingering in the muscles or any busy thoughts remaining in the mind. In the centre of the lake, a small drift of lily pads had begun to bloom, with delicate white and pink blossoms. Attracted by the graceful shapes, the traveller steered the boat closer, careful not to disturb these floating blooms. Their petals opened to the gentle mid-morning light, and tiny droplets of water glistened on their surfaces. Bees hummed lazily across the blossoms, gathering nectar in a slow, purposeful dance. There was a sense that the entire lake was alive and quietly buzzing with harmony, each creature and plant fulfilling a peaceful role in this balanced world. Somewhere in that moment, the soft hush of breeze and gentle sound of the oars caused the traveller's mind to drift as well. Thoughts turned dreamy, as if lulled by the sway of the boat. Images of the old village came to mind. The quiet stone houses, the bakery that warmed the dawn air with sweet bread aromas, the kindly villagers who whispered tales of the lake's healing spirit. The traveller felt a wave of gratitude rising up, a thankfulness for the simple beauty of an unhurried morning. In that gratitude, the traveller found renewed comfort, letting out a small, contented sigh. When the traveller finally decided to row back, the sun was nearing its zenith. A few puffy clouds drifted across the sky, offering shifting patches of shade over the water. The gentle rocking of the boat lulled the traveller into a peaceful haze, where time seemed to stretch and soften. Drawing nearer to the wooden dock, the traveller noticed the wavelets lightly rolling, as if they too were breathing in unison with the world around them. With practiced ease, the boat was secured, oars neatly placed back in their spot. The traveller stepped onto the weathered boards, feeling solid ground underfoot, and slowly made the way back onto the soft grass that lined the shore. A well-worn bench sat in the shade of a tall pine nearby, offering a sheltered view of the lake. The traveller settled there, gazing out across the gently rippling waters. Overhead, the pine's soft needles brushed together in a hushed lull, weaving quiet music with each passing breeze. The traveller's eyes felt heavier, lulled by the gentle interplay of sun and shadow dancing across the grass. Occasionally, the quiet call of a bird echoed in the distance, drawing the eye toward the mountains before blending back into the hush. After resting there for a time, the traveller noticed a narrow trail that wound along the lakeshore, disappearing into a patch of soft forest. Deciding to explore, the traveller rose and wandered down the path, finding the space beneath the trees filled with a softly muted light. Moss-coated stones lay scattered along the ground, and patches of delicate wildflowers glowed in small bursts of colour. The forest floor smelled of damp earth and pine resin, a rich, welcoming scent that stirred comforting memories of simpler times and quiet walks. Though the traveller walked deeper into the forest, the sound of the lake remained audible, echoing in the background like a reassuring hum. Soon, the path opened onto a secluded clearing, surrounded by slender birch trees whose pale trunks caught the soft sunlight. In the centre of this clearing, the lake's waters curled around in a smaller pool, almost like a secret garden within the forest. The reflections of the birch trunks in the still water shimmered like ghostly columns, and patches of greenery waved gently just beneath the surface. The traveller paused again, stepping closer to the edge, allowing their reflection to blend with the mirrored world below. It felt as though, in this serene tapestry, all elements of nature were interconnected. After lingering in the clearing for a while, the traveller eventually retraced the path back to the lakeshore bench. The day was passing quietly, with no particular rush. Each moment offered up like a gift of calm. Feeling the sun's gentle warmth, the traveller let the mind drift, allowing the body to rest against the bench. The comforting sway of a cool breeze through the pine branches overhead was enough to coax a soft sense of drowsiness. But the traveller remained simply at peace, eyes half closed, letting the world hold them in a gentle pause. Afternoon light found the traveller once more in motion, strolling along the water's edge, noticing how the lake's hue deepened with the shifting sky. The mountain's reflections stretched across the surface in long, graceful shapes. Shadows lengthened, casting a comforting hush over the valley. The traveller couldn't help but smile at the subtle changes that the passing hours painted across the scene. The drifting shapes of clouds, the shifting shades of blue and silver in the water, the way each blade of grass and budding flower seemed to lean in to soak up every last moment of soft, radiant light. Eventually, twilight began to softly gather around the peaks, painting a dreamy glow along the ridges. The traveller found a gentle incline near the lake, a place where the ground rose slightly, offering a lovely vantage point over both the shimmering waters and the horizon. Seating themselves on a patch of soft moss, the traveller gazed upon the lake's surface. It now carried the gentle colours of evening, mauves, pinks, and the faintest hint of lavender. The sky above was awash with pastel clouds that drifted in slow procession. Overhead, a pair of swans glided across the lake, leaving an elegant wake behind them, like ribbons trailing on the water. As the sun dipped lower, the faint notes of crickets began to echo across the shoreline, joining the gentle hush of lapping waves. A sense of reverence fell over the valley, as if the entire landscape was holding its breath, waiting for the moment when daylight fully ceded to the magic of dusk. Gradually, the traveller lay back against the moss, letting the arms stretch out to the sides. With eyes turned to the sky, the traveller witnessed the slow, graceful shift from soft day to tender twilight, feeling the air grow cooler and lighter with each passing moment. In that quiet repose, the traveller reflected on the peaceful day spent in the company of the tranquil lake. No hurried agendas, no pressing tasks, just the gentle flow of time measured by the calmness of water, the drifting clouds, and the subtle changes in light. It was a reminder of how simple it can be to find rest and comfort in the natural world, away from the bustle that so often fills the mind. There, in that slow and steady rhythm, every breath carried a note of calm, every heartbeat a gentle echo of the mountain's unspoken wisdom. Nightfall arrived softly, cloaking the lake in a silvery hush. The stars began to appear, first in faint pinpoints of light, then gradually growing into a vast, shimmering tapestry. The moon, nearly full, rose above the peaks, bathing the water in its pale glow, and casting long, dancing reflections on the rippling surface. The traveller found comfort in that lunar glow, a soft beacon in the sky that seemed to watch over the valley like a gentle guardian. Not far from the shore stood a small, cozy lakeside cabin. Its shutters were painted a soft green, and a warm light glowed through the window. A small stone chimney hinted at a gentle fire within. the traveller decided to venture closer, drawn by the idea of a welcoming hearth after the calm day. Approaching the cabin's door, the traveller knocked lightly, feeling no urgency, only the sense that, if a kindly greeting awaited within, it would be as gentle and unhurried as the lake outside. The cabin owner, a quiet local who tended the nearby forest trails, welcomed the traveller with a soft smile, offering a warm place to rest. The inside of the cabin was simple, a single room with a worn rug on the floor, a small table, and a fireplace whose embers glowed orange, casting dancing shadows on the wooden walls. A pot of tea simmered gently on the hearth, filling the air with the faint aroma of chamomile. It was the sort of place that felt instantly comforting, as though it had known many a traveller stopping by after a day spent under alpine skies. The traveller was invited to sit, to take a mug of that soothing tea, and to rest for as long as desired. The local spoke in hushed tones about how the lake carried an ancient tranquility, a calmness passed down through generations of villagers who revered it as a place of healing. Stories told of travellers who came burdened by the weight of distant troubles, only to find, in the mirror-like waters and the quiet mountains, a sense of ease that lingered long after they departed. The traveller nodded, sipping the tea, feeling the warmth spread from the mug through gently cupped hands, moving up the arms and settling as a cozy glow within. Gradually, the conversation slowed, replaced by the soft crackle of the fire. The traveller's eyelids felt increasingly heavy, lulled by the comforting warmth of the cabin, the distant hush of the lake, and the mild fragrance of chamomile wrapping around the senses. The local, with a kind smile, gestured to a small cot in the corner, suggesting the traveller take rest for the night. No need for formality, just the simple courtesy of a safe place to sleep, when the day's beauty had drawn the spirit close to dreams. The traveller nodded in gratitude, finishing the last sips of the soothing tea. With gentle steps, the traveller approached the cot, feeling the welcoming softness of fresh linens. The local bid good night in a quiet voice, stepping outside for a moment to tend to something in the moonlit clearing. Left alone in the warm glow of the embers, the traveller breathed deeply, letting the day's collected calm settle fully within the mind and body. Outside, the silvered landscape seemed to cradle the cabin in a hushed serenity. The distant hoot of an owl, a gentle lullaby, merging with the mild crackle of the fire. In the hush that followed, it was easy for the traveller's mind to drift back through the day's wonders. The mirror-like lake reflecting the blue sky, the slow pull of the rowboat's oars, the secret willow cove with hanging branches whispering over the water, the pastel lily pads opening to the morning light, the quiet path through the forest with its mossy stones and shy wildflowers, and the final glow of twilight that had gently wrapped the valley in evening's embrace. Each memory slipped gently into the next, a soft tapestry of images woven in calm and comfort. In the glow of the cabin, the traveller's breathing slowed. the edges of thought began to blur, and the world seemed to recede into a comforting, restful haze. The traveller's last conscious moments were filled with a sense of profound peace, wrapped in the gentle lull of the Alps' spring night, and the knowledge that the lake's tranquil waves lay just outside, softly embracing the shore. Now, dear listener, feel your own breath growing calm and steady. Notice the weight of your eyelids, how they may flutter with drowsy contentment. Let yourself float in the memory of those rippling waters, the quiet lull of an alpine breeze stirring the young leaves. Each gentle inhale draws in the soothing air of this tender spring night. Each exhale releases the day's burdens into the hush of the lake's tranquil embrace. Your body may grow warmer, softer. Imagine the gentle rocking of that little rowboat, the quiet pulse of waves beneath you, rocking you closer to rest. Sense the comforting support of the earth beneath you, the faint scent of pine or wildflowers drifting past, carrying you deeper into relaxation. Your thoughts can drift like petals on still water, shifting with the lightest breeze, then settling into gentle stillness. Let the quiet hush of evening wrap you like a soft, warm blanket. You are safe in this moment. You are held by the dreamy calm of the alpine lake and the silent peaks keeping watch. If any thoughts come, they can flow in and out, like ripples on that restful water. Inhale, exhale, letting each breath carry you closer to a peaceful surrender. Soon, you may find yourself slipping into a deep and healing sleep. The memory of the day's light wanders gently through your mind, fading into the warm glow of tranquility. Your breath slows, your heart finds its steady rhythm of rest, and the evening air whispers a lullaby through the branches. With soft gratitude in your chest and calm drifting through your limbs, you allow yourself to be drawn into the velvety dark of night's dreamscape. Good night, dear traveller. May the gentle waves of the alpine lake cradle your slumber, guiding you into the sweetest realms of rest. Sleep well.